Hi there, I'm Beth. I'm going to be doing my activity on sound. I've chosen a target grade level of first grade, and I have the performance expectation of 1-PS4-1, where I will plan and conduct an investigation to provide evidence that vibrating materials can make sound and that sound can make materials vibrate. This 2A is going to be done through the use of a spoon gong. I thought it'd be a fun, interactive way for students to experiment with sound traveling from a source to the receiver. Now, this would be part of maybe a day 2 or 3 in a sound unit plan. Students would have to be exposed to the fact that sound is an energy, that sound vibrations or waves move out in all directions from a source. And for sound to move, it must go through some kind of material or medium, whether that be a gas, a liquid, or solid. We're using a solid in the form of a string. This spoon, which is the source, the vibrations start at that source and it travels through the string, which causes the bottom of a cup to vibrate, then pushing the air inside that cup, the air travels to the student's ear, which is the receiver. So I'm going to show you how to make these spoon gongs. Let's start with our materials. The first material we have is a paper cup. This paper cup, anywhere from 5 to 10 ounces. This is an 8-ounce cup, which I thought would work perfectly, especially with my little first grade hands. We need, of course, a spoon, a pencil, preferably sharpened, Scotch tape, and one 15-inch piece of string. This is kitchen twine that you can get at the dollar store. It's kind of the thickness of a yo-yo string. I'm going to show you how to assemble the spoon gongs. I personally would choose to assemble these spoon gongs ahead of time prior to the lesson, only because of maybe the lack of fine motor skills of my 6-year-olds. Also, mainly I just want them to have the time to explore, the time to talk with a peer and explore the peer and have whole group conversations. So I thought of just assembling them myself. You could also partially assemble, and that could go or be brave and do the whole thing with the students, and that would also satisfy some engineering standards. So let's go ahead and jump in with what mine is, and I will take you through the procedures of assembling. So first you're going to start with your paper cup. Now this paper cup on the bottom, you're going to get the sharpened end of the pencil, and you're going to poke a hole through the center of the bottom of your cup. Not too hard, not too far in. You could see I went about halfway through to the brown part of the wood of the pencil. Now that I have a nice size hole at the bottom of my cup, I'm going to go ahead and turn to my string and spoon. You're going to tie one end of the string to the skinniest end of the spoon, which is usually where the handle meets the scoop. Mine is going to kind of end up right around here. Doesn't really matter as long as you can securely tie it onto to the spoon. So I'm going to go ahead and scan down the camera so you can see my hands at work while I walk you through it. So let's go. Okay. What you're going to do is tie one end of your string to the spoon. Doesn't have to be fancy. You just want to make sure that it is secure with a nice knot. And you should have a nice dangling spoon where the scoop of the spoon is dangling. Now what this leaves you is one free end of the string. You're going to find that bottom of the cup where the hole is, and you're going to feed that string into the bottom of the cup a couple inches. Then you're going to reach in, grab the string so it is exposed. So now you've got the string through the cup. Now, to keep that string from just falling right back out of the cup, I'm going to get a nice sized piece of tape, 2 to 3 inches. You can be generous with the Scotch tape. And just put it around the edge, making kind of a nice flat tag. You can see that. Almost looks like a tea tag on a tea bag. So that way, it will prevent the spoon from pulling that string right out. So let's come on back up. Hello again. And I'll just go through how I would introduce this. So I would show students the prepared spoon gongs. I'm going to adjust you just a tad. I would show them the prepared spoon gongs. And this is where I would go over our safety precautions. There are a few of them. The first and foremost is how you handle your spoon gong. There is no twirling, swirling, flinging it around, that this heavy metal spoon could hit the child, hit another child, hit some property in the classroom. They need to make sure they are keeping it away from their body and that it just hangs straight. That needs to be reiterated and clearly understood. Also, consequences set for students that are not following those rules. They will have to sit back and observe for safety reasons. Another safety precaution is you're going to be using a pencil to tap the spoon. Now, I would suggest that students hold the eraser part of the pencil when they grip their pencil. They get excited, they're first grade, they're going to be tapping on this spoon. We don't want them squeezing super hard and getting poked or hurt by the sharpened part of the pencil. Speaking of tapping, students need to be reminded that they are not supposed to be slamming this pencil against the spoon as hard as they can, that they can hurt themselves, they can hit themselves, they can miss the spoon. There's all sorts of things that happen also to damage to the ears, that it'll just take a soft tap, tap, tap. In fact, I would suggest doing a fun little modeling and demonstration, having students follow along, doing whisper tapping around them, soft like a whisper, not a scream. We're whisper tapping. So then I would give students about 3 to 5 minutes for independent exploration. I would be walking around and I would be monitoring that they are holding it away from their body to make that sound happen. Now, to go along with their exploration, I designed a volume challenge. This would be projected on the document camera so students could see, and I would go over all of the parts. That students are to get their spoon gong to make a soft sound. Also, to listen to the sound, see if they can stop the sound from vibrating. What do they have to do that? And then repeat these steps, but this time making the spoon gong, be loud. Again, reminding them that it does not take a slam or a hit. You can still do it with a tap. I would then have students explore. They would then get with partners and compare how they were successful and explore some more, trying out their partners' techniques to see if they can meet the sound challenge. And it'll just be like this, holding it away from them. They will be tapping. They also, as they tap it, can pinch the string to make the sound stop or grab the spoon for a quick stop as well. So students will just be exploring that on their own. We would meet then whole group to discuss their successes, how they got to meet the challenge. We'd also label the cup, string, and spoon, find out which was the source of the sound, what was the receiver. Spoon is the source, ear is the receiver. And then kids would fill out a quick little prompt, which is on my handout. For other integrating other content, I would integrate a speaking and listening content where they'd follow agreed upon rules, and that would be during our partner talk and our whole group conversation. Also, there is a writing, ELA Literacy W1.8, and that is with guidance and support from adults. Recall information and experiences and gather information, provided sources to answer a question. They would answer the question, the blank was the source, the blank was the receiver, spoon, and ear. To extend this activity, I could have students explore a few different things. One would be different types of materials. What if I used a plastic cup? What if I used a thicker or thinner string, shorter or longer string? Another aspect that I thought was really interesting was taking this exploration outside. Now, especially in Vegas, depending on the time of year, we could have really cold weather or really hot weather. And then during those peak times of year would be a great way to see, does the weather, which we know, affects the sound? So that would be really interesting. I also thought of maybe doing the old cup to the door, where one student would be on one side of the door and saying a set sentence and seeing if the other student could hear the sentence being said. So a few ways to extend this. I hope you enjoyed my activities. I look forward to seeing all of your lessons, and I hope you have fun making spoon gongs.